Hello, sports fans, and welcome to the Scott Sports 101 early late game postgame show, Thanksgiving Day, Week 12 postgame show. Jordan Love dropped back and threw deep on his first snap, taking advantage of what the Green Bay Packers thought the Detroit Lions defense would give them. They were right. Love set the tone with a 53-yard pass to Christian Watson on the game's first play, and uh, and and finished with a career high, tying uh, uh, tying three touchdowns, leading Green Bay to a 29-22 victory over the Detroit Lions today at Lambeau Field in Green. Today at Ford Field in Detroit, excuse me. I went over the NFC, and the Lions are still the NFC North leading team in the NFC North on this Thursday. It was something we put in this week that we thought was going to work, said Love, and who had to reassure Coach Matt LaFleur, excuse me, to stick with the first call when he had second thoughts about it on the morning of the game. We were confident in it. The Packers now are 5-6 and were in control of the game. They never trailed, taking advantage of Jared Goff's career high three fumbles. Just a hard day for Detroit, returning one for a score in the first quarter. Dan Campbell's aggressiveness on fourth down, and Dan Campbell's aggressiveness on fourth down. Uh, the Lions fall to 8-3. Went for it five times on fourth down and only converted once in the final touchdown drive. One of the failed attempts was a risky decision to fake a punt with a run from their 23 in the third quarter, down by 9 points. Uh, the obvious was a very critical play in the game, LaFleur said, uh, and that translated into a touchdown. Three plays after the failed fake, Love threw a 16-yard touchdown pass to Watson, and that gave and to give Green Bay a 29-14 lead. Campbell later lamented that decision. Uh, it was a bad call, Campbell said. I shouldn't have done that to those guys. Uh, Golf pulled Detroit within 7 points with a 12-yard touchdown pass to Josh Reynolds and a two-point conversion pass to Sam Laporta with 41 seconds left, but couldn't get closer. 4 days after rallying from a 12-point deficit in the last few minutes in a comeback win over Chicago. The Lions were called for an illegal formation when they attempted an onside kick and a fitting end for them on an afternoon that started poorly and didn't get much better to deflate what was a fired up crowd. I didn't have my guys ready to go, bottom line, Campbell said. Love was 22 of 32 for 268 yards with three touchdowns, including two in the first quarter to rookies Jaden Reed and Tucker Kraft. He had a career-long 37-yard run on Reed option play third down late in the fourth quarter to seal the win. Uh, Rashada uh, Rashad Gary led Green Bay's dominant performance on defense. Excuse me, I'm sorry, going to get that out. Uh, and 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 Rashad's he forced a career high two fumbles, recovering one of them, and tied a career high with three sacks and seven tackles on the same field where the former Michigan star tore a knee ligament last season. Gary was in tears after LaFleur gave him a game ball in the locker room. And throughout this whole game, there's been a lot of emotion. Gary said, "I was praying, trying to keep my head cool." Golf finished 29 of 44 for 322 yards with two touchdowns, including one on a 7-yard pass to Laporta on the Lions' first drive. He had three fumbles through doomed Detroit's chances, though doomed Detroit chances, excuse me. Uh, Jonathan Owens returned one of Goff's turnovers for a 27-yard score that gave Green Bay a 20-6 lead. So it was just one touchdown. I said two field goals when I was doing the pregame. It was one touchdown. Uh, uh, and and in and in the opening, it gave Green Bay a 26 lead in the opening quarter, getting some appreciation from his wife, Olympic gold medal winning gymnast Simone Biles, on social media. And in Detroit's previous game against Chicago, threw three interceptions for the first time in 3 seasons with the franchise. Sometimes there is an answer, sometimes there isn't, he said. Overall, it's my job to take care of the football. LaFleur was running off the field at halftime when a Ford Field security guard was on his way and put two hands on him. And as they briefly collided, there might have been illegal contact. He joked it wasn't a big deal. The Lions, who were booed by their fans at times, have lost 7 straight games on Thanksgiving. And there were some injuries. Packers running back Aaron Jones had a knee injury. Cornerback Jair Alexander had a shoulder injury and didn't play. Linebacker Devondre Campbell had a neck injury. Safety Rudy Ford also had a shoulder injury. And Dontavian Wicks had a concussion and a knee injury. And tight end Josh DeGuerra he had a hip injury, and they were all inactive. Lions guard Jonah Jackson had a wrist injury, and was inactive for the 5th time in 6 games. Well, up next, the Packers host Kansas City on Sunday Night Football next Sunday on December 3rd. Not this Sunday, but next Sunday. And the Lions are at New Orleans next Sunday on December 3rd. So Lions have some work to do to really get back to their winning ways. So this was one of those games where the home team just did not have it. And I got to give the game balls to the Packers. Jordan Love, 22 of 32 carries and attempts, 268 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. A.J. Dillon, 14 attempts, 43 yards. And Christian Watson, 5 receptions, 94 yards. So, yeah, the Lions, it just was not meant to be for him today. And then the late game, but we're gonna do that one for you right now. Texas, uh, a, uh, uh, Deron Bland set an NFL record with his 5th straight interception return for, All Pro, I can say, set an NFL record with his 5th interception return for a touchdown this season. Dak Prescott threw 4 touchdown passes, and the Dallas Cowboys pulled away for a 45-10 Thanksgiving victory over the Washington Commanders today at AT&T Stadium in Big D. The Cowboys are 8-3, extended their longest home winning streak in 42 years to 13 games. Dallas won 18 in a row at home from 1979 to 1981. Now, the Dallas leading going into the 4th quarter was less than 2 touchdowns for the first time in 5 home games this season, but the Cowboys ended up tying a 55-year-old franchise record with a 7th victory by at least 20 points this season. Dallas defense that gave up more than 200 yards for the first time in 3 games stiffened at key points in the second half, stopping the Commanders on 4th down 3 times. Sam Howell threw for 300 yards and had a rushing touchdown, but was sacked at his 24-yard line on 4th down early in the fourth quarter, setting up a CeeDee Lamb's touchdown and 2-point conversion catches for a 21-point Dallas lead. Washington, who is now 4-8, lost for the 8th time in 10 games since a 2-0 start and dropped to 2-9 as the most common Thanksgiving opponent for their NFC rivals. Prescott threw for 331 yards in his 5th consecutive game with at least 2 touchdown passes, one shy of his career best. Rico Dowdle, Brendan Cooks, and Kevontae Turpin had the other scoring grabs. Bland capped a 25-point fourth quarter when he stepped in front of Howell's pass intended for Jahan Dotson and ran free along the Dallas sideline before having to cut back inside to avoid the pursuing Washington quarterback. Receiver Terry McLaurin and running back Brian Robinson Jr. were the last hope for a tackle just outside the 10-yard line, but Bland sidestepped both and cruised across the goal line. Bland came into the game sharing the NFL record with Philadelphia's Eric Allen from 1993 and Kansas City's Jim Kearney 1972 and Houston's Ken Houston from 1971. Dallas kicker Brandon Aubrey missed an extra point for the second consecutive game. The miss in the 33-10 victory over Carolina ended a streak of 49 made field goals and PATs since Aubrey missed first ever kick on an extra point against the New York Giants in the opener. The 28-year-old rookie still has his NFL record run of 22 consecutive made field goals to start a career after hitting a 52-yarder. Now, there were some injuries today. The Commanders' running back Brian Robinson Jr. was evaluated for a concussion in the first half, and he was cleared. Dallas safety Jaron Curse was inactive with a back issue after showing up on the injury report during the short week. Up next, the Commanders will host Miami at home on December 3rd next Sunday, and the only game between now and December 17th, and the bye comes after the Dolphins game for the Commanders. And the Cowboys host Seattle next Thursday in the second of 3 consecutive home games. So Commanders have their work cut out because I'm not so sure about them getting the win against Miami. Dallas, I think, will get the win against Seattle. But the Commanders, they just did not have it today. They kept it close, and they were down by 10 at halftime, but they could not do anything in the fourth quarter, and I've got to give credit to where credit is due. And that's the Dallas Cowboys to get the game balls. Dak Prescott, 22 of 32, carries and attempts, 231 yards, 4 touchdowns. Terry Pollard, 13 attempts, 79 yards, and 1 touchdown. I just want to make sure I said that right. Yeah, Tony Pollard, excuse me. Tony Pollard. I made a mistake. That's Tony Pollard, not Terry Pollard. It's Tony Pollard. 13 attempts, 79 yards, 1 touchdown. And Brendan Cooks, 4 receptions and 72 yards and 1 touchdown. So it was Dallas who pulled away in the fourth quarter and got the win. And right now on Thursday Night Football, it's the San Francisco 49ers who lead the Seattle Seahawks 7-3 in the first quarter with 6:30 left to go in the first. Second and 14 at the Seattle 14, and the 49ers have the ball. So, excuse me. And their touchdown and Brock Purdy's pass was a complete deep right for no gain at the 2nd and 14. And I do believe that that San Francisco will get them in. That was San Francisco, not Dallas, who had that no gain. Brock Purdy's pass a complete deep right to Jennings. So yeah, this has been quite a day of Thanksgiving Day football. And that's just about going to wrap it up for the Scout Sports 101 early late game post game show and Thursday night football update show. I'll be back with the post game show for Thursday night football once the game between the 49ers and Seahawks has concluded. But until then, always remember, be a team player each and every day in every way possible. So long, everybody. 3, 2, 1. I'm done.